Today we're going to check out Federico Malaman and we're going to look into his solo he played on Strasbourg St Denis at a jam session he played in Nam show, and it's from the same video I already did on Hadrian Ferrot. So let's check the recording and I'll show you some couple of cool stuff that he does. Okay, so this here, so first line, for example, at the start, it's really nice one. Something cool to look into. It's basically D flat major 7. He's playing over this B flat minor 7. But what I really want to look into is this last phrase here. Right, and I see many comments of people saying that he's playing out and how to learn to play outside like this, and he's not playing outside. What he does here is playing a diminished scale, and if we're looking from the point of F, maybe you know it as a half whole tone scale. So, right, and what he does is he's using really cool trick. He's playing 3 major triads, a minor third apart. So he plays D triad from the third, B triad from the third, and A flat triad from the third. It's when you look at it like this, it's very simple, but the sound is a little bit, maybe you're not so used to it, maybe you never even heard of this scale or never heard of the sound, but it's a very common thing in especially in jazz, and it's a really useful sound because of the symmetry, so he's taking advantage of this as well. Okay, this is some cool triplets going on here. I love this. Impeccable technique. Okay. Again. Okay, this phrase here, like, it's a really cool phrase, and I love how it starts here with these triplets, and he does. Right, I can't play like that, like him, but and then he basically makes the resolution rhythmically by going into slower tempo. So he was like, right, and then here he does this. These like 6th kind of chords, like if you want, like A flat major, B flat minor, A flat major, G minor kind of. And again he resolves into rhythmically into like slower tempo, so slows down, so it gives it bigger effect and kind of lifts up that moment. So for example here he's playing this triads basically here, And now here I wrote 7 couplets. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but it's just this was really hard part to figure out what he plays. I spent like hours looking into his fingers because it's hard to hear. It's just I think these are the notes, and he kind of like put them together that that it worked. So it's da 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 da. He resolves here. Okay, and then let's continue listening here. Again, using this diminished scale again. Okay, using some of this. And he keeps playing with this da 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 da. This so. Like playing with this rhythmical sound, right? Yeah. So the things that stood out to me in his style, at least from this solo, his use of triads. So he's a big fan of descending triads. So for example, in this diminished sound, over this F7, and also just in general, when he plays even in major, he plays a lot this kind of stuff. Right, so playing descending triads but ascendingly, if that makes sense. So playing them upwards. I'm not sure how to explain that better. You know, instead of he goes up, but the motion is descending, right? The other thing is his use of these ghost notes. So he does stuff like this in a chromatic way, in a like usually descending way. So he does a lot of right, or that's I think something I really hear in his playing. The other thing would be his absolutely beastly technique and his ability to execute these ideas on the spot perfectly. I'm very impressed. I like that he's using his abilities to play like a very simple lines. Something like this, it's very lyrical, very simple, and then he breaks out of it playing back to normal rhythm. So for example, right, so it creates lots of rhythmical dynamics, and I think it's one of big parts of his sound. Also his abilities to create longer lines playing over the bar lines. Harmonically, he's not using nothing too crazy. I mean, the tune itself doesn't really give you that much options, right? It's basically one key, with the exception of the last chord, the F7. You can do some more interesting stuff, right? And he plays the diminished scale here. So that's the right, and normally, and the rest of the tune is just in A flat major key. So what I really like is that in this one video there's 2 really cool bass solos. They're both amazing and both so very different and very unique, right? You maybe saw or maybe didn't see my video on Hadrian's solo on this tune, and it's quite different than Federico's, and that's something I really like. So for my next video, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of a comparison between these 2 and another bass player called Johan Hansen Larsen. I hope I probably butchered his name. I think he's from Sweden, and he's an absolutely amazing bass player. I'm a really big fan of him, and he has a beautiful vocabulary, bebop-like, and his articulation on the bass, everything, is just blew me away when I heard him. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compare these solos a little bit, and I think it's something you guys are gonna really enjoy, and it's really gonna be cool thing to see how they're completely different like it's one tune, the same tune, but 3 different bass players in a completely different styles. So stay tuned for that. So that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. Make sure you subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it, and stay safe and practice.